And now it's time for Blur on compact disc. Blur have been one of my favourite bands for a long time. I kind of got into them around 95. That's when the Britpop thing was at its peak. And yeah, they were quite innovative band. They've borrowed from reggae, ska, the Kinks, the 60s, the 70s, even some 80s stuff thrown in there. But it's done pretty cleverly and makes for great music. Damon Albarn himself is one of the best music composers and songwriters of the last 30 years, without a doubt. So yeah, let's check them out on compact disc right now. Leisure from 1991 is the band's debut LP. It used to be called Say More before that. This would probably be my least favourite Blur album. It just doesn't excite me enough. She's So High is on it. That was a single. Bang. Sing. That's a great track. That was on the Trainspotting soundtrack. But there's No Other Way. That's also on that. It's kind of got the Manchester beat going through it. Stone Roses vibe going through this. It's a bit uneventful. I never really got into it. It never became a favourite album of mine. The band also had a long-standing relationship with producer Stephen Street, who produced The Smiths back in the 80s. The artwork is very stylish on most Blur albums. And yeah, it's of its time, you know, but you know, the seeds are there for what was to come after. Next album is Modern Life is Rubbish. This was released in 1993. This is a great album, arguably one of their best. If this was their debut, well then, it would have been a fantastic debut. But it's a great second album. I mean, it's much better than the first. For Tomorrow was on this. Advert, Collinsy, Pressure and Julian, Star-Shaped, Chemical World. There's a bit of a Kinks thing here. Sunday, Sunday, All You Water, Miss America. Yeah, it's a great album. I really like this one. I've listened to it a lot of times. Come back to it. It's got a lot of energy in it. There's even, you know, kind of a bit of punk in there as well. So yeah, this is certainly well worth investigation. Again, produced by Stephen Street. Mainly, there's a few other producers in here in the credits. Yeah, it's a good album. Next up is the album that more or less broke the band to the mainstream, Parklife, and this is from 1994. This is where things become more arty and a bit of comedy thrown in there as well. Great singles, Girls and Boys, Tracy Jack's End of a Century. Kind of going into Beatles territory a little bit here. Parklife with Phil Daniels, great single. Bank Holiday, Debt Collector, Pharaohs. To the End, that's kind of a 60s love song. All that kind of stuff was coming back then. Divine Comedian, he was releasing albums around that time. This Is a Low, that's a great track as well, one of their best. Yeah, Parklife is a great album, really is. Very entertaining, and it's got something for everybody. Next up is The Great Escape. Again, not a bad album. Stephen Street is still here for this one. It's a bit long. Kind of repeat themselves a little bit. Stereotypes, Country House, that was a #1. It beat Oasis to the top. Best Days, that's a really good song. Charmless Man. Fade Away. You can hear traces of Specials here and stuff like that. Top Man. The Universal. Another great kind of a 60s throwback here. He Taught of Cars, Could Be You, Earn the Same. The you know, there's halfway through the album the tracks kind of get a little bit monotonous, but then you have Yuko and Hiro, about a Japanese couple, I think, that work in some factory or something like that, and that's a great track. I love it. The artwork is great as well. But yeah, it's a good album. I like it. When it came out, I bought it and I played it a lot. It was one of my favourite albums for a while. Yeah. Next up is Japan Only official live album. This was released after The Great Escape. I bought this in Australia. And just a nice souvenir of the band live. Artwork is fantastic. It's all to do with airports and airlines and stuff like that. It's got 25 tracks on here, all recorded at Budokan on the 8th of November 1995, except She's So High recorded at NHK Hall on the 9th of November 95. Yeah, it's always a little quirky thing with these albums, live albums. There's always a track recorded somewhere else, not on the day. Yeah, you can see it's a double. And it's got the OB and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great. I love the artwork. I think there was a live video came out around the same time as well. The band live. Some nice photographs in here. Kind of carried on the theme from The Great Escape. Big advertising and stuff. I saw the band 3 times live. I think it was one of the only bands I saw 3 times. I saw them in '96 at the RDS in Dublin. I saw them in '97 in Melbourne, Australia, and I saw them in '99 at the Point Depot in Dublin. Yeah, great band. And then there was the self-titled Blur album in early 1997. This is a great album. It's a masterstroke, really. It showed a kind of rougher side to the band. I think they were kind of, with Graham Coxon, the guitarist, was actually very influenced by bands like Pavement and the grungier element of pop music. This is a great album. I don't think there's a duff song on it. Beetle Bomb, Song 2, it's an anthem at this stage. Country Sad Ballad Man, MOR, On Your Own. Thing from Retro, again that kind of conjures memories of the Specials, You're So Great, Dead of a Party, Chinese Bombs, I'm Just a Killer for Your Love, Look Inside America, Strange News from Another Star. Moving on, Essex Dogs, that's a very long piece. It's kind of like poetry. Excellent. Just reminds me of the Specials. It's great. This is a very good album, I love it. And if I was ever going to listen to a Blur album, that's kind of the first one I kind of go to. Yeah, it's really good. Stephen Street produced that album, and it's a cracker. Bustin' and Dronin', this was released in Japan after a self-titled album. It's a compilation of remixes. So 98 actually. Moving on, William Orbit mix, Dead of a Party, Well Blurred remix, On Your Own, Crouch End, Broadway mix, Beetle Bomb Mobies mix, Essex Dogs, Thurston Moore's mix, Dead of a Party, Billy Whiskers mix, Theme from Retro, John McIntyre's mix, Dead of a Party, 12-inch Death, On Your Own, Walter Wall mix. Then you have the second disc is the Peel Acres session, and it's got Pop Scene Song 2, On Your Own, Chinese Bombs, Moving On, MOR. Very, very punky sound. There you go. Very, very nice artwork. It's really classic. And there's the OB, and there's even a sheet of stickers that you can plastic all over the place. It's great, really. Yeah, really cool. And then you've got the artwork here, and you've got the track listing and stuff like that. And then the Japanese booklet, or the fold out. Yeah, nice collector's item. Again, I've seen this go for peanuts online. In the year 2000, the band released their greatest hits, and good greatest hits package, really. Nice simple artwork. Just kind of an end of an era, I guess. 90s was well over. Britpop was done and dusted, but compared to other bands, I think Blur stepped out of it nicely. Al Barn embarked on the Gorillaz project to great effect and great success. 18 tracks, and there's a new track on here, Music Is My Radar. That was a non-album single. And then there's a second disc of live tracks recorded at Wembley Arena, 99. Then there's a DVD of all the songs as well. It's very hard to get out. There we go. All you could wish for in a package, and then you've got the booklet and pictures of all the singles and stuff like that, and some miscellaneous stuff. So yeah, very nice, and I wouldn't say it's a collector's item or anything like that, like, but it's nice and worth having. After a 4-year break between studio albums, Think Tank was released. This is the deluxe edition in a kind of a cloth bound hardback, which I like. There's nothing on the back. I bought it on vinyl at the time, and I bought this as an afterthought. It's not a bad album. It's quite atmospheric. Graham Coxon, I think, was after leaving the band at this stage, so you don't get a lot of him on it. He's on a couple of tracks, I think. Banksy's artwork. This is an enhanced CD with some extras and stuff like that. 4 tracks live, recorded at MTV Studios London. Yeah, it was. I think Gorillaz was kind of taking over at the time for Al Barn, and that's it really. The band kind of disintegrated until 2015, when they released The Magic Whip. This one, again, I bought it on vinyl at the time. I don't know where the CD came from. I think I found it in a second-hand shop or something. It's not the same, you know, the kind of old Blur isn't really there for me. Old Chinese. It's the first studio album in what is it, 13 years. And okay, I'd have to go listen to it again. You know, they kind of lost me at this stage. I bought it because I was excited that Blur had a new album out, but yeah, that's it. Since then, they've just released a few live albums. I don't have them. I didn't really see the need to buy them. I might buy them to fill out the collection at some stage, but I'm kind of happy with what I have. And live albums, I don't really listen to that much. And yeah, so that's it. That's Blur on Compact Disc. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to subscribe, and take care.